Welcome to Delivering the Experience. Today's episode, I have a very good friend, former colleague of mine. I've worked with her, and it was her work ethic, her integrity, and the way she goes through her work routine and does not stop. So I'm not going to say anything more than that. I'm going to introduce Keiry Canizales to you guys on Delivering the Experience. How are you, Keiry?
Hello, Mayor. I'm actually Castillo now. I got married during the pandemic. So I'm actually Katie Castillo now. And yes, we worked for a very long time together for about 3.5 years. And now I've been doing real estate for 4 years. So
Oh,
it's a different thing I'm doing now, but I love it and wouldn't have it any other way.
there you go. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you. Premise of the show is that I want to talk to folks who are self-employed, who've started their business, who've gone through the pains of establishing themselves or their business, working with different kinds of customers, all kinds of customers, really, and
Yeah.
evolving through that process. And also, if someone else wants to do what they're doing, whatever field of business they're in, how can those people learn from them? So let me just get right into it. How did you end up getting into real estate?
So I knew that's something I always wanted to do. I mean, growing up, I remember in middle school, I used to always watch House Hunters, and that I would stay up to like 2, 3 in the morning as a 12, 13 year old watching this stuff. And I remember thinking one day I'm gonna either, be the host of that show or be one of the agents on that show. And that's kind of how that little idea always lingered in my head since I was 12, 14. And then obviously I went through different jobs as a grown up. I went to finish high school. I did a few years of college and trying to figure out myself. I ended up working for AT&T for 3 years,
Right.
where I met you. And working there, I realized, corporate America is not for me. I was 24 years old and I said, I need to really do what I want to do.
Mhm.
So I went ahead, took that leap of faith and grabbed, my husband at the time was working at Spectrum. So I was like, can you hold down the fork while
All
I
right.
do this? And he said, yeah, go for it. He's a U.S. Army veteran.
Okay.
So he's all about taking risk too. So he said, go ahead and do it if that's what you want to do. I support you 100%. And I mean, we've been together 8 years now. And he
Wow.
supported me through all of it. And that's how I started 4 years ago. I remember it clearly because, I just knew that was like the end of it, especially having a brand new baby. He was two and a
Mhm.
half when I
Right.
started
Yep.
real estate. And now he's 7 years old. He just turned seven last week on March 28th.
I remember that. Happy birthday to him. Happy seventh, right? You said?
Seven.
All
Uh-huh.
right. So starting back then and getting into it, getting yourself established, getting those leads going, getting your name established, how was that process?
Getting started, it's not easy.
Mhm.
And, we see it on TV with all the flying colors, and it's not. It's not. I mean, it took me 6 months to really get my first closing. 6 months from the time that I went to school and
Oh,
got my
wow.
license.
Mhm.
So it was 6 months that, you're there prospecting, you're learning everything that you can, you're farming your neighborhood because that's what everyone tells you to do. At the time I was already kind of trying to push social media, but like there's a saying that says nobody's a prophet in their town. So people that knew me didn't want to use me because they knew I was new. So
Mhm.
there was that like hesitance to use a new realtor.
Right.
So I was thankful that a friend of mine recommended Airbnb guest he had at his house one time that wanted to buy a house. He was Airbnb his house, and he was my first client. That was the first closing I had. After that, it was just like a domino effect. It just kept going and going, and that client recommended me another client, and that's how it all like grew to what it is now. I am so blessed now that everything, I mean, it's referrals. All the past 3 years that I've helped all these clients, they've all sent me their friend, their family, their brother, their sister. And that's how I've kept my business now. It's really just referrals.
Right. So coming to Texas right now, everyone thought that it's going to be a very slow market. There's going to be a dip, but what happened is everyone started buying houses. Now there's a shortage of houses. There are premiums on top of that. What's going on? Let's talk Texas.
All right. So the DFW area is on fire, literally on fire. I mean, you will get a house, and before you put it on the market, if it's incoming soon, you're already getting a ton of calls of buyers who are wanting to see the house and even submitting offers without seeing the house. That's kind of like normal right now for a buyer to just see the house hit the market, fits their criteria in the area that they want, and they just go for it. And yes, what created this, what's going on right now is it is the pandemic. It's what it's created it. With the interest rates, going so low, everyone said, this is the time to buy because a lot of people weren't affected by COVID with their jobs. So those people were like, this is the time to make the move. So, historically low. I mean, we never seen interest rates in the 2%, even 1.99. Like it was insanely low, and they're still historically low. I mean, they've
Mhm.
gone up a little bit from a year ago to now, but that's kind of what created this demand in low supply of housing right now. I mean, I was looking at, I'm part of the Metro Tech Association
Right.
of Realtors, and I was looking at their stats for February sales. Dallas County, the medium income went up 26% compared to last year, which the not medium income, medium housing cost,
Mhm.
it's now 315 when before it was under the 300s.
Wow.
And inventory, it's only for 1.3 months. This is in the Dallas County. Compared to last year, we had 2.6 months of inventory. A healthy market has 5 to 6 months of inventory. And I mean, this tells you right here, we have no inventory. That's the Dallas County. Collin County, which is, I know, is that your county? Collin
Yes.
County?
Yep.
Okay. So Collin County, it's even crazier. Last year was 2.6 months of inventory. Right now, there's zero point 0.7 months of inventory. So there's nothing, like literally no housing available for a buyer. So you're seeing this happen where people, since they know there's not a lot of houses, they go with new builds. And what's happening now, new builds are short, they can't keep up. Right now, if you try to look for a new house, they're not ready till the end of the year,
Mhm.
October, November, December, even
Right.
2022. So a lot of them have like, said, what, we're not selling anything for now. Let's wait and catch up. And then we have new lots and new homes to sell in a few months. So that's happened with a few of my clients right now that are on waiting list, and their waiting list have become super long with this new builds. And I mean, that's what caused all of it, was low interest rates and the shortage of homes. There's not
So
a lot of.
opportunity to spend less money or long-term invest less money to get a good house, and then more people wanting to avail that opportunity, putting pressure on the builders and the supply, and then the supply getting crumbled
Mhm.
under that massive demand.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right.
All right. That explains that. So that brings me to my next question. So what that means is there are sellers who should be selling because there are so many buyers. What do
Yes.
buyers do now if there are not that many houses?
Well, what I would recommend for buyers is, number one, have a good negotiator by your side. You need a good realtor, experienced realtor that can navigate you through the whole, you know, transaction, especially negotiate for you.
I know one. She's on screen.
Thank you. Yeah, give me a call. I can help. And and make sure that you talk to your lenders. Make sure that your lender is communicative. Make sure that you are informed with what type of loan you have. A lot of first-time home buyers don't even know what questions to ask because they've never bought a home before. So that's when it's important to have a good, reliable source next to you to help you navigate through it all. And a lot of us realtors have relationships with lenders for
Mhm.
years. So we know that they can close it. We know that how promptly they'll work. We know they're communicative because I mean, this is a busy, busy industry. So a lot of them are kind of hard to contact, but I understand they're busy. But at
Mhm.
the same time, when you have a realtor that's there also on your side, hey, if they don't answer you, the realtor will call them. And if they have a relationship, it makes it easier. And as a buyer, you have the right to choose your lender, but I would recommend to go with somebody that your realtor has a relationship with, because she can also put pressure if there's something going
Right.
on the lender. So I really think lender is key, realtor is key, knowing your stuff is key as a buyer, and just be prepared. Be prepared to not be afraid to offer over asking. That is
Okay.
something that's very norm right now. Don't be afraid. You always have the appraisal to help you, even though right now a lot of sellers are making you sign an appraisal waiver.
Wow.
But it's up to you if you want to go with that or not. So I mean, there's a lot of ways how you can navigate the whole situation, and make sure that you lock that house down.
Okay.
Just making sure you have the right people by you.
So question, you mentioned a lot of sellers are making you sign an appraisal waiver. I have no idea what that means. So please educate people like me who will not understand this.
Sure. So an appraisal waiver, it's a waiver. Let's say a house is in the market for 200, just an example, and there's multiple offers, and you go and offer 205. With the
Mhm.
appraisal waiver, if for some reason the house does not appraise for 205, you're guaranteeing the 205 price. So if it only appraises for 200, you are guaranteeing that you will pay the 5,000
Oh,
out of pocket.
okay.
Hmm.
Okay, so the house is not appraised at 205, but since we waived that, so we
Hmm.
will still have to pay 205, even though it got appraised for
Exactly.
200. Oh my
That is
goodness.
correct.
Okay. And
That's
that
exactly.
is being driven because of such high demand in the market.
Hmm.
Because I,
Exactly.
as a seller, know that if Katie's not going to buy it, then John's going to buy it, or if John's not going to buy it, Nick is going to buy it.
Yep. Or you have John, Nate, and Katie all giving you an offer at the same time.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So that brings me to another question. How is this market now for a first-time buyer versus a buyer who is selling his or her first house and then getting a new house?
So for a buyer that is, buying for the second time, selling their
Mhm.
first home, don't be surprised your home's going to be gone within minutes of hitting the market. I actually had a seller right now that requested a month lease back after the closing because their house isn't ready, and they didn't expect their house to be sold that fast.
Mhm.
So they asked for a lease back from the buyer. Obviously, they're going to pay for the lease back for a whole month.
Right.
So
Wow.
for sellers who currently have a house and are waiting to build a new one or moving to a new one, I would say prepare. Put the house in the market right when you need to. Don't put it too soon, because then you're gonna find your place, maybe live in an apartment or something while your
Right.
house is getting ready. And that's what it's going on. And I would just, recommend to be ready for that situation. For first time home buyers, again, it would be getting informed, getting the right lender, the right program, know what type of program you have. Sometimes for first time home buyers too, and some people do this, some people don't. I mean, it's up to you. You can put a picture on it or not, but write a seller a letter, like asking him, hey, look, I'm a first time home buyer. I just got married. We just had a baby. I mean, in reality, it doesn't guarantee that it's going to get you the house, but you never know. Maybe you touch a soft side for the seller, and, it's just a
Personalize it a
hopeful,
little bit.
yeah, it's a hopeful way to try to win an offer. And I say
Okay.
hopeful because, nothing's going to guarantee that your cute letter is going to be win over $10,000 over asking.
Right. Okay. So now coming to, so you've signed the contract, and what are some things that a lot of people miss once that happy signature has been done from there to the second signature, when, according
Mhm.
to a lot of people, you sell your soul away? So some stuff that a lot of people miss, and a realtor, a good one, an experienced one, comes into play.
Yeah, one would be making sure of date times and timelines, option period. The option period is there to protect the buyer. You have X amount of days that you're paying the seller for, so you can do your research on the house. You can do an inspection. If there anything comes up on the inspection, you can negotiate repairs or whatever it is that you need to do during that option period. And if for some reason you decide you don't like the house anymore, you have that option period that covers you, and you can back away of the contract and nothing happens, everything's good. you move on. You lose your option fee, but that's about it. It's negotiable how much it is too. It could be $100, could be $200, but it's definitely worth it to do your inspection and know what you're getting yourself into, because like you
Hmm.
said, you're signing your life away. I mean, not really, but it is, one of the biggest investments you'll make in your life.
All right.
Some people do it 2 3 times in their lifetime, some people do it just once.
Hmm.
So you have to know your timelines. That's one of them. The second one, again, goes back to the type of financing. You have a third party financing addendum that covers you for the bank to give you final approval.
Okay.
So it can either be, 15, 20, 21 days, 25 days, depending on what we put on the contract. Well, that's the amount of time that the loan officer and the bank have to approve you, to finally approve you and say, hey, you're good to go.
Okay.
So you have to have somebody there making sure, hey, to meet those timelines, to protect the buyer and protect the earnest money, because at that point, your earnest money is at stake. If for some reason you don't qualify during that financing period, you get your earnest money right back.
Okay.
Let
All
me
right.
backtrack a little. The earnest money is something that you put down when you sign the contract.
Hmm.
It's going to be the earnest money and the option fee. Earnest money is usually 1%, even though in this market we're seeing it maybe being a little more sometimes,
Right.
just to be more appealing to the seller. And that is basically letting the seller know, hey, look, I'm serious. I want to buy your house. Here's 1% of what it cost.
Okay. All right. So you use term option period. What is that? When that happens?
It happens the day after the contract gets executed. So, for
Okay.
example, we execute a contract today and we put an option period of 5 days. Today would be day zero, tomorrow would be day one, and so
Okay.
on and so forth. And those are the days that you have to do the inspections. If you need, foundation checked out by an engineer, you get that scheduled within those 5 days. If you need a roofer to come out there, you get that checked out during those 5 days.
Hmm.
And during those 5 days, you can negotiate back with the seller and say, hey, look, this came back like as concerning. It needs to be fixed. What are we going to do? Are you going to fix it? Are you going to pay for it? And do negotiations.
Okay. So another question, jumping forward to closing. A lot of people, especially in this situation that a lot of people are in, the decision between should I put $10,000 more on down for closing, or should I keep that $10,000 for rainy day and just work with whatever situation, whatever dollar amounts I've committed earlier to the loan officer, and just keep that $10,000 in saving for emergency fund. How do people make that decision?
This is what I tell my buyers. This happens a lot. And, sometimes I say, hey, would me even an extra 10,000 make my payment go down? Or, questions like that. I usually tell them, look, 10,000 is not just 10,000 right now. It's
Mhm.
10,000 over a period of 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. So is it going to make a big difference on your monthly payment? Probably
Right.
not,
Mhm.
because we're dividing it, amortizing it over 20, 25, 30 years. So I usually tell them, I think it's up to you what you want to do, but this is what it's going to be. It's probably going to make like a $10 difference on your monthly payment. Do you want to save $10, or do you want to just keep your cash and leave it as is and put it on towards a principal after? So I
Okay.
would probably as me, I would probably lean towards keeping my cash and just paying that extra $10 a month if I have to. But I can just put it directly to the principal if I want to at the end of the year or whatever.
Okay. And also, you mentioned paying that extra $10. Correct me if I'm wrong. Specify that that extra $10 a month is going to principal, not just
Yes.
overall the payment, right?
That's right. That's right. Now, if we're gonna do, just leave the loan. Let's say we're doing a conventional loan with 3% down. Um, if you put an extra 5% down, that's 8%. That
Right.
probably make a big difference, right? But if we're only gonna put, another percent down, it's not gonna make a huge difference. So, like you said, if I would keep it at three
Hmm.
and just either every month put an extra $50, whatever it is, and specify it is principal only. That way,
Okay.
you finish paying off your principal faster and you save some money on interest rate as well.
Okay. All right. So interest rate also, how do you see interest rates to the best of your experience? Because no one knows what's going to happen with
Yeah,
interest rates. Maybe only the people who are actually driving those, if at all.
I know.
Based on the market where it's been, based on the three stimulus payments, how do you see that moving forward? And please, no one hold Katie to that.
Yes, I am no guru here. I don't know the future, but I will tell you, they're starting to go up. I think I
Mhm.
said this earlier. They are you're starting to see a rise. I don't know how much it will rise, but it seems like the economy is going to be back to normal. I mean, we're seeing that too with gas prices. They're going back up
Right.
because everything's kind of going back to normal. So I see it, in my opinion, that they're going to go back up.
Okay. All right. So another thing, since we're now approaching the closing, I asked a few questions about closing. In terms of even an existing house closing or a build closing, what items, walkthrough is a major milestone. Any
Yes.
particular details that folks should pay attention to when it's time for a walkthrough?
Yes, make sure everything's working. Turn on your washer.
Mm.
If it's a brand new build, make sure that, the dishwasher's working, uh, I forget the name, the sink, the turning, I forget the,
Um,
I just went blank for
Garbage disposal.
there you go.
I think so. Trash disposal.
I have
Yeah.
so many things in my head. The garbage disposal, make sure that it's working, make sure the toilets are flushing right. I mean, just little things like that get missed in new builds a lot of the times. And it's not the major things, it's the little things
Right.
that you miss. And, especially right now in Texas, sometimes it rains and, the make sure that your house is draining properly. I actually had a client email me this morning that I closed in October, and her new house has puddling around the house. So we wrote
Oh,
an email.
wow.
Mostly new builds have warranties. So they'll come out and fix it. And even a pre-owned home, you can also purchase a warranty. I
Okay.
always recommend to purchase a warranty. Um, you can have it for 12 months. You can renew it every 12 months. And it'll help you with some of these things like the water heater, AC, plumbing. Sometimes it depends on what the coverage is. Obviously, check with your warranty expert about that, but definitely recommend one if you can get one. So those would be two things I would look for on a final walkthrough.
Hmm.
Is just make sure little things that you wouldn't think of, just make sure that they're working fine, because these are things that you use every day, especially
Right.
the commode.
Yes. Okay. So another question I was going to ask, every business has gone curbside. Is there any such thing as curbside closing?
Yes. Oh
Oh,
yes.
really?
Oh
And
yes.
people are doing that, or title companies,
When
or
you mean by curbside, do you mean like go wrong
like
or not?
no, title companies, they're coming to your place to do the documentation if someone does not want to go to the
Oh
title
yeah,
office.
yeah, yeah. I'm so sorry. Yes, yes. Remote closings.
Hmm.
Yes, we are doing that a lot.
Hmm.
We some of them are closing in the car. They'll come
Okay.
out, bring in documents, and they'll close you in like as a drive-through in the car. Some of them will schedule a mobile notary to come to your house or whatever place of choice, your workplace, and close you there.
Okay.
So yes, that is something that is happening. I think some title companies are still closed right now, and they're only doing that curbside. Closings and mobile notaries. It's what the thing is now.
Okay. All right. I know we've spoken about the real estate, but with your real estate work that you do, you also have another side of business that you guys have. You guys take care of. Tell us about Anthony and Anthony LLC. I guess did I get it
That's
right?
right.
Okay.
That
So
is right.
tell us something about that too, and how
So,
does that relate to what you do?
yeah, sure, sure. So, Anthony and Anthony LLC is a remodeling and renovation company that my husband and I created. We do painting, drywall, foundation, roof, um, you name it. Anything that has to do with bringing a house back to life, we can help you with that. We also focus a lot on the construction cleaning side. So in a new build, you usually have all this construction dust that you don't know what to do and you can't get rid of. It's everywhere because it's so fine.
Right.
So we have that side as well, from an Anthony LLC. We've been in business since August of 2020.
Okay.
Uh,
All right.
and this year we're hoping to, it's going to be our first full year. We've already had a few projects going on. We have exciting things coming. We're getting associated with some big companies. So that's coming soon. Next time I see you, hopefully I have the good news that we're already, um, associated with them and I can actually say their name.
There you
Uh,
go.
yes, that is another side that my husband and I take care of. You
So
know,
it's a one-stop shop we have here.
yes, yes. So if the house doesn't look the way you want it to look, don't
Hmm.
worry. We can make it look. We can open up walls, get you the open kitchen you want, whatever you need, or even build your new house. If
All
you
right.
have a lot, we can build on your lot. We can help you find the lot. I mean, whatever you need, we got it.
Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned that because Texas is big and there's so many people who are so much into buying lots and then just either keeping that lot and then eventually building on that lot. So you guys also do that then.
Yes, yes, yes. We can do that. We can help them with the permit. We can help them from building a house from the ground up.
Okay. All right. Well, fantastic. Anthony and Anthony LLC, along with Katie, who is, well, I've known her for quite some time. So I'm based on my association, the time I've spent working. I would definitely recommend getting with her and working with her. So, with that, a lot of words of wisdom from a professional who's been doing this for a while now and who has gotten to know the Texas market. So if you want someone on your side, do get in touch with Katie. I've got her contact details also if you want to go over those. Plus, before you do that, any parting words for buyers, sellers, anyone who's interested in real estate?
Yeah, buyers, don't get discouraged. That you'll find the house of your dreams. Just make sure you have the right people on your side and get informed. And sellers, sell your house. If you have a home, it's the time to do it now. If you want to upgrade, it's the time to do it. And then for everyone else out there, that has questions, I also speak Spanish. So, you know, people who see this in English, I speak Spanish. So if you have anybody that needs help and wants to buy a house in the DFW area, I can help them. I can get them connected with the right people and get the whole process going for them. Also, the same thing with the Anthony LLC. If you need help or need a free quote, I believe Amir will put the information here at the end of this video. So please give us a call. Follow us on Instagram. My Instagram name is Katie, the real estate girl, representing DFW Elite right here. You can follow DFW Elite. And our company name is Anthony LLC. And we're all on Instagram.
All right. And with that, as I said in the beginning, the purpose of this is to bring folks who have started their business, started their work with that signature experience that has their stamp on it, regardless of what kind of industry they're in. Hence, delivering the experience with Umer Khan. Thank you very much, Katie, for joining me.
Thank you
Kicking
so
this
much for
off.
having me. I appreciate it. This has been so much fun.
Absolutely. And we look forward to hearing from you, having you, seeing you. And with those thoughts, thank you very much. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.